Hi, I'm Darren here and welcome back to this video series where I'm going to share with you the 4-step formula that's going to help you exactly how to analyze the interview answers that you've gleaned from an interviewee. Because you see, while we know how to craft certain questions, while we know how to ask follow-up questions, we would also need to be imbued with the skills and abilities to know how to make sense of those questions. And here I'm going to share with you the 4-step formula. I'm going to share with you the insider's secret of how some of the best interviewers make sense of the interview answers so that they know exactly what to do next and whether it fits the ultimate purpose of their interview. If you're ready, let's get started. There are 4 main steps towards analyzing an interview answer or multiple interview answers. Step number 1 is to know exactly what is the purpose of your interview. What is the purpose of your interview? If the purpose of your interview is indeed, for example, to find out what are the qualities of an unsung hero, keep that in mind. If the purpose of your interview is to find out what are some of the key mindsets that a winning entrepreneur should have, keep that in mind. If the purpose of your interview is to know exactly what it takes to have perfect time management skills, keep that in mind as well. Because once you have clarity of purpose, it not only shapes the questions well, but more importantly, it also helps you to categorize the answers effectively. Step number 2 is essentially to find out what are the various categories. So what are the various categories? The various categories include things like causes, consequences, principles, tangible benefits, intangible benefits, long-term, short-term solutions or problems. And with that in mind, it helps you very much in your ability to sort the answers in. Which brings me nicely to step number 3. Step number 3 is to categorize your answers into each of these categories. Because when you have that in mind, you will then be able to formulate the relationship that the categories have with your purpose. For example, if your purpose indeed is to find out what are the winning mindset of an entrepreneur, then some of the categories would be useful. For example, categories like principles would be useful. Categories like the long-term, short-term analysis would be useful. Categories like the tangible, intangible benefits that an entrepreneur looks at would be useful as well. With that, it brings me nicely to step number 4, which is once you have those categories, you then look at the individual answers in each of these categories, whether they fit the main purpose of the interview. Let me give you an example, a concrete example. If the purpose of the interview indeed is to find out about the winning mindset of an entrepreneur, and the category that you have chosen would be principles, in the category itself, many different answers. Let's say we have answer A and answer B from the interviewee. Answer A is that I feel that it's always important for us to be able to leverage on the time and skill of other talented individuals and bring them to the team. The second answer, which also slotted under this category, would be something like, I believe in being able to have what we call transparency and openness in our dealings. And maybe let's throw in one more. And the third answer would be, I love watching movies, and the principle of me choosing the right movie is that movie must make me cry. So of the 3 different answers, which ones do you think are relevant? I think it's quite obvious. It would be the first and second one. With that in mind, you have with you the 4-step formula, a simple formula on how to make sense of the answers that you got from the interviewee. The question you have in your mind is this. It's so simple. That's precisely it. You see, chances are, as Tony Robbins said very well, complexity is the enemy of execution. The more complex a concept is, the harder it is for anyone to execute. And that is why simplicity is indeed bliss. And I've just shared with you simple yet powerful formula that you can apply straight away. And what are they? Step number 1 is to find out the purpose of the interview. Step number 2, the categories. Step number 3, slot the answers in the categories and find out the relationship of the categories vis-a-vis the purpose of the interview. And the last one is to, of course, evaluate the answers found in each categories for the purpose of the interview, and you would be ready to analyze the answers. I'll see you very soon in the next video series.